Steve Montgomery at Unheard of Guitar, and I gave you an if, and this if is related to the Pandiatonic scale and something that I'm going to call the Septachordal Cloud. And here's the if. If you play the Pandiatonic scale in F and continue, all the way up to E, as I just did, then you're going to, if you were to lay those notes out in order, you would get this. So what that would be is, if you can follow that, is F, chromatically up to A, skip B flat. As I mentioned before, the fault is in the fourth. That's really the diatonic crux of the downfall of the diatonic harmony, if you want to put it that way, of some of its limitations is based on the fourth and how that keeps you landlocked, getting from F to F. Then I go to B natural, and then I'll play chromatically up to E. Okay, so all of those pitches came from doing this. And then extending it. And returning to the F. Okay, now the next step is, what if I were to take those pitches that I said were occurring, and I was to build arpeggios off of them? Well, first off, just triads. Okay, so let me show you what that looks like. If you can follow, maybe easier by just looking at it like so. See where the triads are? That's what I'm calling the Septachordal Cloud. Where are those pitches coming from? Well, I mentioned you can look at the bottom line there, and you see the F, F sharp, G, and so on. And then the B natural in the middle, no B flat. Excuse me. So what you see at the bottom then is when you build seventh chords off of all that. And this is where it gets kind of interesting, because well, let me show you. Let me show you. Okay, if I started with the F major 7, and I kept with the pitches that are going to occur in the pandiatonic scale, the next chord or arpeggio would be F sharp minor 7. The next would be G major 7, then G sharp minor 7, A major 7, B major 7, C sharp minor 7, D major 7, D sharp minor 7, E major 7, and then back to F. Okay, another way to explain that, if this may confuse some and it may be useful for others, where do I derive those from, other than the fact that they come from the pandiatonic scale? Well, the way you can get those is you can think of secondary minors. For example, the F sharp minor comes from, it's a secondary minor for D major. And you can see that if you're thinking pandiatonically in the key, or you call it the tonal center of F, then D major is one of the points you'll arrive at. It's one of those parts of the heptachord, the septachord, or the hexachord, whatever chord you want to call it. If you're stacking fifths, you're going to end up landing from a F. You're going to go from F, C, G, there you are to D. So if I had that D as part of the whole system, then I can think secondary minor to D major is F sharp minor, and that's that second arpeggio that you see. Excuse me, the second triad, and then the second major, the second seventh arpeggio. Likewise, if I go then to the next pitch, which is part of stacking fifths, I'm going to land on I'm going to go from F, C, G. Well, it's going to end up being a G major if I'm alternating between major thirds and minor thirds and landing on the G. It's going to be a G major in likewise fashion. See that G right there. So what is the secondary minor for the G? Whoops, incorrect. Sorry about that. The G sharp. G sharp is what I'm referring to. The G major stands as is within the system. But where does this G sharp minor come from? That's a secondary minor from E major. Okay, well, where does E major come from? If I'm continuing up those stacked fifths, there it is, and it's going to happen to be an E major. If you're going alternating between major third, minor third, major third, minor third, which is what the whole pandiatonic system is really based on. So, backtracking, here I have this G sharp minor. How's that getting into the picture? See how you can resolve it too. It can be interesting, kind of inside-outside playing. The G sharp minor, seventh, is coming from a secondary minor of E major 7. Okay, so likewise, if I get up to the C sharp minor, 7th, then I can think of that as the secondary minor of A major. So again, if I'm thinking of stacking fifths, well, of course, A is going to be in the picture. If I'm stacking fifths from F, I end up on an A eventually. There it is. So if I'm thinking pandiatonically, then I know that A off of that stacked fifth system is going to have major, minor thirds alternating. That's how I'm going to get there. Okay, so if I'm back here at the A major, which is what I'm trying to prove to you, is that it's going to be A major, not A minor in this part of the pandiatonic system, then it's pretty easy to see that secondary minor, which is right there, is going to be the C sharp minor 7. Okay, so backing up in the context of F, just some noodling there, but working in and out of what I'm throwing a bizarre label onto, but just as a way of having a label for it. The Septachordal Cloud. Okay, so I hope that cloud is less than clear as mud for you. But if you just take it bit by bit and tinker around with some of the different elements I'm showing you there, it will unleash some different sounds for you. And you can use those in writing, in improvising, and just hopefully get away from the theory aspect of it. The theory doesn't really do anything except lay something out to take a look at, to consider, to think about. It's all about applying it, and that's why I say writing and improvising. I think that's all for this one, and adios.